Hey guys, it's Nate, aka TheFutAccountant. Welcome back to the channel. We are all just ready for footies at this point in time, but unfortunately, there's one last week of Shapeshifters that still stands in our way. However, with what has been leaked so far about this final week of the Shapeshifters promo, maybe it is getting a little bit better. I'm not here to glaze content today, but guys, these leaks are looking a little bit interesting, specifically with SBCs for interesting players, and most importantly, evolutions that are going to give 4 playstyle pluses are leaked. We got to talk about that, and a big day for the market today on Thursday with some SBCs coming out and refreshing, and of course, Path to Glory cards being very important investments with Rivals rewards. We're going to talk about it all. If you're excited for it, drop a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Starting things off as we always do, let's look back at yesterday's Wednesday content, where it was another typical day of Shapeshifters. Only one player SBC and one upgrade pack SBC, and that was all of the content that we had. Now, the player SBC is the leaked and now released Debritz Live PTG card. What's funny about this is the 4th German women's live card that they have released, yet some other nationalities have no SBCs or cards in packs to represent that nation. Crazy to see that we have 4 Germans. Maybe EA knows something that we don't. They are one of the favored nations in the women's Euros. But this Debritz card, 4-star, 5-star, great playstyle pluses, can play center mid, CDM, and left wing. Also, great passing playstyles, not in the plus category. You got finesse, you got intercept base, press proven, first touch, and technical. It's actually a really solid card. Of course, all the roll plus pluses since we're inside of Shapeshifters. The price is very cheap, 86, 87, 87. This is an 80,000 coin SBC. I think if this card was in packs, she'd probably be around that price or so. And the best thing about this is you can wait, because Germany play tomorrow on Friday. If you want to wait and save your fodder just to see how their first game goes before getting into this SBC, you can absolutely do that. I just like that these PTG SBCs have been cheap thus far, and it's a way to get live cards into your club, kind of like the Road to the Finals SBCs were earlier on in the year. They were pretty cheap, only in SBCs and objectives, and they were easy to get in because it's fun to have some skin in the game for these upgrades and for these potential boosts that these cards could get through the tournament. So games are going on. We're going to talk about more with the PTGs here in a second, but I was a little, bummed to see the Shapeshifter Team 3 upgrade pack get added to the code yesterday, an hour before content, and then released, because I was hoping for a player pick, man. Maybe that's going to happen during footies, but still, can footies just get here already? That's really how we feel right now in this game, because the Shapeshifters content has not been great. It gives us not much hope. Even the leaks that I'm going to talk about in today's video still don't have a lot of hope for it because of how the content has been. But this one, I was hoping to be a player pick. It's just the pack. It's the Hoffman, Stage, Ayos, Perez, and Peck Simulator is what this pack is, but it's still worth the try. 86 squad and a team of the week or a team of the season. So that was the content from yesterday. Yes, those 2 SBCs was it on a Wednesday of Shapeshifters in July. That was all the content that we had. Now, there was other content to discuss because the women's Euros did start, as we mentioned, and that means these cards are moving for potential upgrades. Now, the first movements that we saw yesterday were downward trends on these cards because people were selling off before the rewards that are happening early today on Thursday. I think this is one of the biggest investment opportunities that we've had of the week. You got to get in on these cards soon, and I don't even think they're going to drop that much with rewards. They could dip a little bit, so if you're awake for rewards and watching this video, take a look around with these PTGs and find a card that you saw move well earlier in the week, maybe from like Saturday or Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. Those cards that did good before will probably do good again, because most of those cards that moved well were popular nations like Spain, like France, like Germany, and they're favored to do well in this tournament. And sure, a lot of people are waiting for today's Rivals rewards to bring supply to the market, and it will bring a little bit of supply, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of people that want to buy. So I do think that some of these cards could just start going up right after Rivals rewards. So I think you got to be quick with that today, especially for some of the more rare, higher tier cards, more expensive ones that people actually want to use in game as well. Because yesterday we had our first 2 games to actually show us how these cards are going to progress towards their upgrades. Norway and Guderitzen went down early. Her card was up pre-game. I had invested in a couple of them, sold them really quickly after Switzerland scored first, And so then, Norway came back and Guderitzen went from like 300K up to 360, but now she's back down, but only 1 goal away. And of course, now 3 points closer to getting out of the group, which will be kind of progressing towards 2 upgrades, right? Scoring 3 goals is the first upgrade, qualifying out of the group, getting to the quarterfinals is the second upgrade, and that's going to come pretty quick. So that's why I do think these cards could be good investments. Specifically today, I'd watch the Spanish cards. I know that Salma Paralluelo and Paredes are more expensive compared to some of the rest of the PTGs, but they do play today, as well as Belgium and Italy. Tomorrow and Friday, you got Denmark, Sweden. That's a big game. Germany, Poland, couple of live cards there that are live from this PTG team as well. So watch these cards. They go out of packs. They're live. If a team is performing well, the cards are going to move well. Now, since we're talking about the market and division rivals rewards today, I want to talk about fodder, because this is also going to be a great place to be trading today, because fodder is definitely going to drop every single week with rivals. These cards are impacted more than the cards that are actually in packs. Last Thursday, 88s went from 6K, 7K, all the way to 3,000 coins. And look how they've done with the 82 or the 92 plus TOTS player pick that is out. The exchanges, of course, being in demand for people to do right now with the grind. So watch 87s, 88s, and 89s, even 90s and 91s. Those are going to be great cards to bid and snipe during rewards. I think the 87s and 8s, since they're specifically required in that TOTS pick, would be the best investment today during rivals. That's a place to be watching on the market. Same thing with team of the seasons. Now, I'm not talking about fodder team of the seasons, but today on Thursday, we're going to have that TOTS SBC refreshing. And last week, what we saw was the second time around of that refresh, and we saw a lot of TOTS cards drop. Remember this Miles Lewis Skelly, MLS? He was 70,000 coins, dropped all the way to 35K, and he went to like 55K yesterday, 2 days ago, before coming back down here. Now, people expecting that tradable supply once again. Look at team of the season cards that are like 50 to 200,000 coins. They're going to be great cards to trade with after content today, because they're going to get supplied from that tradable team of the season pack that'll be in SBCs refreshing. Also, taking a look at the rest of the market, it's going to be a good day to trade. I've been completing some flips still, watching some out of packs cards, because people are going to be going and buying teams and trying cards out to get qualified for weekend league today, maybe playing some rivals games, getting ahead for next week. Thursdays, the market has done pretty well. Of course, the Shapeshifters team 3 is in packs. They might take a bit of a dip in price, but a Shapeshifters team 1 card, like a Konate, who's already very high, a Lukaku, who's already very inflated in price as well. Same thing with Harry Kane. They could go up a little bit more today, as rivals does generate some more coins. So it should be a safer place to trade today, but once again, maybe take this as an opportunity, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, to start thinking about selling cards from your club if you have some tradable, very expensive cards, because I do believe that Futties next week is going to hurt the market, and that could even start as early as later on this week and this weekend, with the market dropping in anticipation of the Futties promo. Now, let's take a look at what's happening before Futties. As we mentioned, we have one last week of Shapeshifters, and this little news tab screen yesterday didn't give us a whole lot of hype, but it's some of the leaks that came afterwards that make this week of Shapeshifters a little bit more intriguing. I know, like I said, I'm not trying to glaze the content at all, because Shapeshifters has not delivered, but there's some of the things that we've been wanting to see. Big player SBCs and better evos. It looks like we're a little closer to some of that. Now, firstly, this loading screen here in game doesn't give us a ton of hints. We do know the left 2 cards there. We know the English card. Actually, no, we don't. Do we know the English card? We're going to take a look through the leaks, guys. Yeah, we do know the English card, and we know the French center mid, but we do not know the hero just yet. And we do know the PTG cards as well. It was a bit of a surprise yesterday to who the French icon was going to be, because we thought, okay, is it going to be like a midfield card, because 99 pass and 96 dribble, but is it going to be like Desai moved into the midfield, or what is it going to be? It's Cantona. This is his official card, 5 playstyle pluses. I honestly don't think that's going to be a crazy card, like in terms of price. I mean, looks like a great card. It's King Cantona, GGMU, of course. I'm going to say like 500 to 700,000 coins in the market for this card, because when you take a look at so many other of the Shapeshifter cards that are out, especially some of the icons, they're not all that expensive. I mean, sure, he's got 5 playstyle pluses. That's a big deal, but I think that's going to be a middle of the park card in terms of price. That could be fun though, and pretty good to use with those play stop pluses. So that's not a bad card, but just like we saw last week, maybe EA is not advertising the best card on the loading screen. Remember last week they showed Kelly Smith, but we actually had Eusebio in packs. This week we have Rio Ferdinand, who's also going to be in packs as a 98 rated striker. Aerial, low driven, pinged, finesse, and first touch with 99 physical and 98 shooting. That looks like a fun card as well. Maybe kind of like the Vieira that we already had released as a shapeshifter striker, but it's going to be unique in its own way because it is Rio. And those are great playstyle pluses for a striker of his build. That'll be a fun, interesting card to try in game for sure too. So those are the two icons that we have leaked right now. There's definitely going to be more coming. As we look through the rest of the leaks of who is in packs, this is the not English right wing. Thought we were going to look at that card first. We're not looking at that one first. This is Doku, Shapeshifter official card striker. Some of the Shapeshifters, once again, not that crazy of a boost in terms or change in terms of position, right? Doku's a winger, gets moved to striker, whoop-de-doo. But 98 dribbling, 97 pace, 95 shooting, finesse, low driven, quick step, first touch. Looks like a good card. Not an insane one, but a good one. Here's the English right wing, Reece James. Official card. He's also got finesse, low driven. He's got incisive and rapid plus as well as a right wing card with 98 dribble and 97 pace. A little bit better passing at 95 and still 93 shooting with good defense and physical for a right wing, to be honest. Maybe a right mid on that card as well. That's an interesting card there for Reece James. We're still, like I said, though, not sure about the CDM. Could it be? It could be anybody. It could be like Lucio. It could be Maicon. It could be Cordoba. Like any Serie A hero is up for the taking there. I'm sure that's going to be leaked today, but Bruiser, Intercept, Long Ball, and Pinged, that looks like a pretty good card in its own right. Now, the PTG cards, as we've already looked at, this was leaked last week. That's Guijarro and Hegerberg on the loading screen there. We've got Stanway, Katoto, Hemp, Savava, Payor getting another card. Leah Williamson getting a card as well. Watch out for some more official stats on PTG Team 2. I'm sure there's going to be more leaked tweets about the rest of the cards coming into packs, more heroes, other icons, of course. Only a few players leaked right now. There's going to be a lot more leaks in terms of that. Now, that's decent. Okay, some decent cards there. But this is where it gets a little bit interesting. We have SBCs leaked. Now, not just for these two cards here. Blackstenius is getting an SBC. She just, of course, had the 96 rated card or 97 rated card, maybe, from the Women's Champions League. That was a very popular card, very good to trade with. So she's an SBC PTG that's upcoming. And so is Athenia. That might be a really interesting card as well if it's an SBC/objective, which Detective Foot says possibly. So the fact that Athenia and Blackstenius are leagued separate from this team here is very intriguing to me, as that's going to be a live card that would be really interesting, as Spain is very clear favorites in this Euros tournament for the women. But those aren't the SBCs that are interesting. It's right here. Eze is a Shapeshifter SBC card that is coming soon, and these are his official stats. Once again, not that big of a shapeshifter, right? His cards from earlier on in the year are like cam, center mid, left mid. This one's left wing, maybe striker, maybe right wing. 99 pace though, 96 dribble, 95 shooting. Great playstyle pluses, basically exactly what you'd want. And he's pretty good in game. I remember using this card for a few games earlier on. He was very hyped. In tandem with the Sancho card that was released during that English World Tour season, like earlier. That was in like what, December and January, like right around Team of the Year, right before that. So that's a pretty good card there. And Eze, you know what? If this is a cheap SBC, that could be a fun one. That's at least unique. It feels more unique than some of the SBCs that we've had recently. So I'm actually a fan of that one. I'm also a fan of this one, Araujo SBC. It's actually funny because we had an Araujo SBC last year at this exact same time. If you guys remember the PTG Araujo for Copa America, here we are in a Shapeshifters Araujo card. That looks like a very good CDM. Bruiser, pinged, technical, and anticipate. 96 pass, 95 dribble. What a card. That one could be our Friday SBC coming out tomorrow. Eze could be a Friday SBC as well. Either of those two would be something to watch out for. And I think both of those two would actually have a decent amount of hype just from player name and likeness hype and just who they are in game. So those are decent SBCs. So is this one, a flashback Manuel Neuer. I will be there for this card because this flashback or this flashback is to his Shapeshifter back in FIFA 23. And I tried out this card, and I don't think I liked it that year, but a lot of people did. And that was a very popular card back in FIFA 23 Shapeshifters. I hope they don't just release him as a 94 with the exact same stats, though. 96 shooting, 94 dribbling, 94 pace is good. 96 physical is good, but I hope they do it like this concept card and maybe just bump up those stats just a smidge from what he actually had back in FIFA 23. I could see it being the exact same, but even then, if it is the exact same stats as FIFA 23, if it's cheap, that's the key, right? For these player SBCs, none of these look like they're the top tier upper echelon player SBC that we're like really wanting, but hey, fun cards along the way that are pretty cheap. It's fun to try cards out at this stage of the year, right? I do a Rauho and Eze to try him out. I will do the Neuer to try him out as well. So I'm a fan of that one. Hopefully that drops tomorrow and Friday. I'd love to see at least 2 of the 3 that we just looked at tomorrow on this game. So those are the SBC leaks that we have right now. But as I mentioned with Evos, it gets a bit interesting with this leak as well. Foot Police says 4 Playstyle Plus Evos are set to come to Ultimate Team soon. Finally, we've had a couple, I know, but it's been so long, and that's what I say every single time we get a new Evo, every single week. Man, I wish we could have 4 Playstyle Pluses, right? Here we go. He says, don't get too hyped, though, because they scheduled a 92 3 Playstyle Plus Evo on Saturday, so not all the Evos are good in Shapeshifters Team 4. Okay, that's fine. The ones on Saturday is probably going to be free, whatever. We're still going to have some of those free Evos that aren't that great, whatever, it's going to happen. But, like, look at this, right? If we had this ready and able 150,000 coin evolution going up to 96 rated with the stats that you can get, we're talking 94s, 5s, and 6s, and a lot of the stat categories with the boost that this Evo gives. If this Evo gave the 4th Playstyle Plus for 150k, we would love that. That's what I've been saying all week, and a lot of you guys have been like, man, these evolutions don't feel worth it because they feel behind the curve with the Playstyle Pluses, which are so important in this year's game. We know this. This is a good sign. So we don't have official evolutions leaked, but obviously he knows because he's saying we're getting a 92 3 Playstyle Plus Evo on a Saturday. So he knows what's incoming. Watch out for those leaks. Like, I was trying to take a look at the market to see like what strikers, center mid, center backs, is there any specific position of cards that are moving up on the market right now because of those leaks? I'm sure the people that know the leaks are out buying cards or whatever, but I don't see anything moving super concretely just yet, or like that I can tell at least. But watch out for the leaks because 93 and 94 rated cards would be of interest for potentially fitting into those evolutions when they do get leaked. So watch out very closely for that. Hopefully we'll learn a bit more about that today on Thursday. So those are the leaks. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that. I personally, again, think that that is a step in the right direction. That's better than the first couple weeks, 3 weeks or so of this Shapeshifter promo has felt. I mean, it literally feels like it can't get any worse at this stage. So those interesting player SBCs plus 4 playstyle Evos, I think, does seem a bit better. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. So hopefully it's executed well and correctly, and a nice little bump up from what we're used to with this Shapeshifters promo being as bad as it has been. So last thing to discuss is today's content on Thursday, which is probably going to be pretty slow. There's no Evo leaks, as we would have already mentioned that there could be. The only SBC leak that is still out there is the Gundogan, which I don't know why EA's waited this long to drop this SBC for hopefully today, because he's the last leak that we have that would probably be a Team 3 leak. That's a card that I'd be interested in trying as well, kind of similar to the Eze and the Araujo. So watch out for Gundogan today. As we mentioned, the TOTS upgrade SBC is going to refresh, the tradable one that is, and that means you'll have an opportunity to make some more coins today with some untradable fodder from your club. That's the nice thing about the tradable TOTS pack there. And there could be like one last Evo that we get. I mean, they haven't been dropping a lot of Evos, so I wouldn't expect one because I don't think we had an Evo last week on Thursday. But last chance as well, if you maybe just started the season recently or you're not super caught up yet, this would be a last chance to get the weekly refresh of SP, because this is going to be the last Thursday of the weekly refreshes before we get a new season, because of course next week we're going to have a brand new season. So be on the lookout for that there. if you're still trying to catch up and get yourself some SP. So it's probably going to be a pretty quiet day today on the game, except for the leaks. I'm going to be stacking up some packs, not like saving packs, but just stacking up a couple of them, probably to open tomorrow and Friday, because at this point, every time I get to a Thursday of these Shapeshifter promos, I just think, yeah, you know what? I'll just save for tomorrow and Friday, because why not? It's more exciting to save a few packs for a promo Friday. I know some people that are like, nah, screw Shapeshifters. I'm already saving for Futties, and I'm waiting to see what comes out with that. The re-release of all the cards, that should make packs a lot more fun again. We'll talk a lot more about Futties and the leaks and everything that's coming with that next week as we start to get more news and information. But at least for right now, for tomorrow, for Shapeshifters Team 4, it looks like it's maybe taking a slight step in the right direction. I don't want to speak too soon, but let me know in the comments how you guys are feeling about that as well. Best of luck on your Rivals rewards today. I'm not going to be holding on to those. I'll be gripping and ripping, especially for the player picks. As I open these 85 or 84 plus Team of the Weeks here, make sure you keep doing these. Like, I started to notice that I was forgetting to do them, and my club is running out of Team of the Weeks. But if you're doing the daily grind, these are so helpful to be doing with the 82s, 3s, and 4s, especially with the 83 plus player picks. You're still doing exchanges, getting a lot of fodder from those. This is just instantly getting Team of the Weeks back in your club to make other SBCs that require them super easy. So that's going to be the video for me today, guys. If you did enjoy it, drop a thumbs up on it. Comment down below if you have any questions, and subscribe if you are new. I will see you guys on a stream today. That'll be here on YouTube and, of course, on Twitch and TikTok. Those links are down below in the description. Have yourselves a great Thursday, and I'll see you today and, of course, tomorrow for a new video. It's been TheFutAccountant. Have a great Thursday. Peace.